David Gonski, the chair of the Federal Anti-Semitism Education Task Force, has recommended ethics classes be introduced across all levels of education in Australia to combat hate. Joining us on the debrief today, Lindsay Kirkwood from the Wine Chats podcast in Brisbane and Ben O'Shea from the Nightly in Perth. Good afternoon to both of you. Lindsay, let's start with you. Do you think kids need to learn about ethics in a classroom?
Absolutely. I have 3 kids, 2 in primary school, 1 in high school. On the way to school drop-off this morning, I asked them, do you know anything about anti-Semitism? My 12-year-old kind of did. My obviously 9 and 10-year-old had no idea. And after I explained it to them very briefly, my 10-year-old said, but why would someone do such harm or hate someone just because of their religion? And I'm like, girl, that's a good question. So absolutely, as a parent with students in school, bring it on. Absolutely.
Ben, the curriculum across the country comes in for a lot of criticism quite often. Do you think this is something that does need to change?
Well, look, no disrespect to David Gonski, who's forgotten more about the education system than I will ever know, but ethics is already being taught in the curriculum. Ethical understanding is one of the 7 core general capabilities in the Australian curriculum. It's taught from kindy through to year 10, so it's already in classrooms. I think we need to call a spade and say that hate speech and this type of hate in our society is not a product of what is or is not being taught in the classrooms. It's what people are being exposed to on the internet and social media. It's what kids are exposed to in their homes from their parents. I don't think adding a formal standalone ethics class in school, which kids are going to take about as seriously as they do trigonometry, is going to do much to stamp out that sort of hate.
Yeah, something does need to change though. Let's move on. A new report has revealed Australia has lost almost half its children's TV shows, with commercial networks rarely commissioning kids programs since government quotas were scrapped. Ben, kids TV has really changed, but we do get Bluey.
Yeah, exactly. And look, if you could guarantee every kids' TV show was going to be $1 billion franchise like Bluey and the Wiggles, TV networks would be making more of this type of content. That's just not the facts. The government scrapped the quotas for commercial TV networks to make children's television to really help protect them from the influx of streaming giants. So it was a good decision at the time, but it has resulted in less of this content being made. I don't know what you do about it. I honestly think we're probably never going to get back to the golden age of Australian television, when you had Round the Twist, Secret Valley with that dastardly Spider McGlurk. We're just not going to get that anymore.
Ship to Shore, my favourite.
Ship to Shore.
Lindsay, gone are the days where kids sit down at, say, 3:30, 4 o'clock specific time. Streaming's really changed the game in terms of viewing habits, hasn't it?
Oh, for sure. And whenever I talk about this topic, I miss the whole TV guide, right? Where you open up the TV guide and you look at the handful of stations and what they're airing, and you're like, oh, I want to watch that show. It's just, it was so refreshing, right? Now it's almost that we doom scroll through all of our platforms to see what we want to watch. And I don't know, do we really need all that more doom scrolling in our lives?
Well, as long as you've got 7 national news at noon every day in your appointment list, everything will be okay. Ben, Lindsay,
Absolutely.
thanks so much for that.
Thanks you.
All right.